What's going on YouTube? So the Santa Fe has long been one of Hyundai's most important and best-selling models. That's why they have continued to expand the lineup with the addition of the XRT, hybrid, and PHEV models last year, and also why they are making changes every year, including for this 2023 model. So what's new for 2023, and is this a good pick for you? Let's jump right in and find out. All right, so let's start things off with the exterior design as always. So up here in the front, you're not going to notice any substantial changes for 2023 with the design. This was refreshed as recently as 2021, so you have a pretty fresh look up here in the front, including the signature Hyundai Santa Fe design. So the grille continues to be offered in several different finishes. You have a matte black finish on your lower end trim levels. You've got a chrome finish in the middle trim levels, and then when you get up to this fully loaded calligraphy model, that's going to give you kind of a combination. So you're going to have this special dark gray finish on the grille itself, but still have all the nice chrome elements on the lower fascia to make it look luxurious. And let's come on over here to our headlights. So you have very unique headlights on the Santa Fe. They're also kind of similar to what you have on the Palisade model. And they're going to be full LED on all the trim levels. It's going to be reflector LEDs for your SE through the limited trim level. And then the limited and the calligraphy are going to come with these, the projector LED headlights for a nice premium look. I like the daytime running lights and the T-shape there, but you're not going to find fog lights on any of the models. So as you work your way through the Santa Fe's trim levels, you're going to go from 18-inch alloys to 19-inch alloys, all the way up to 20-inch alloys on this fully loaded calligraphy model. Now this is my first time seeing these wheels in person, and I have to say I really like them. They're very unique looking. That's kind of one of the signature traits of the calligraphy trim level, is having really bold and unique looking wheels, and these certainly are going to stand out. Now another calligraphy exclusive feature is the fact that around the wheel arches, as well as the lower moldings in the entire vehicle, these are all going to be finished in body color to give you that more premium appearance. Let's move on up here to our mirrors. Blind spot monitoring is going to be standard on every Santa Fe. Heating is standard on all but the base model. And then you're also going to find power folding abilities on the limited and the calligraphy trim levels, which is something that's actually not available on the Palisade.
All right guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the overall length of the Santa Fe. So we're looking at 188.4 inches, right on par with that of the vast majority of the segment. And of course, let's go ahead and also talk about some of the styling elements that you're going to get for this model. One of the things I do want to point out is that you do have chrome accented door handles. That's a nice premium touch. That's actually going to be included on SEL trims and above. Also for the calligraphy, we have some really nice elements. We have chrome down here, all of our body color lower moldings, chrome window surrounds, as well as chrome roof rails up at the top. Now if you want a really tough look, you can also get the XRT, which will add a lot more tough and rugged elements on the side. Now moving around to the rear area of the Santa Fe, you're going to notice that there's not really any changes for 2023 back here. It's your signature Santa Fe design. I've always liked the way this vehicle looks. It's very classy, elegant. So we have an exposed rear wiper right here, Hyundai badging. We have taillights that go all the way across the entire back. It's kind of hard to see on this red on red model, but the taillight is actually connected. And speaking of the taillight itself, these are going to be the premium version of the Santa Fe taillights included on the limited and calligraphy trim levels. You do get the LED brake light components as well as the LED accenting. Otherwise, it would be incandescent. We have an incandescent reverse light down below that. And then lowering down to the lower areas, your turn signal is actually integrated into this lower bumper area. I kind of wish they would just throw that in the taillight unit up top. And then working our way down to the lower area, we do have some nice chrome accenting, an exposed exhaust outlet only on the right side. And as far as your tow rating, you're going to be looking at 2,000 pounds for the regular 4-cylinder model, or 3,500 for the 2.5-liter turbo model. And anyone who buys within this segment is going to be very concerned about your safety systems as well as the warranty. So as far as your safety systems, let's start out with that first. Hyundai is including every single one of the systems as standard equipment on the Santa Fe. So that does even mean for the base model, you're going to have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beams, and adaptive cruise control. Now, new for 2023 is that the SEL trim level and above, so the vast majority of models will have highway drive assist included as well, and the Limited and Calligraphy also throw in the additional system of Smart Park, so that automatic pulling in and out of parking spots. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, you're looking at 5 years, 60,000 miles for your basic warranty, 10-year, 100,000 miles for your powertrain warranty, and 3 years and 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Guys, as you can see on the outside, this Calligraphy is one of the best looking Santa Fe's you can get. But now let's go ahead and check out the very luxurious interior before we take it out in a spin.
So walking up to the Santa Fe, it will sense your approach and it'll go ahead and fold out the mirrors. And as far as the key fob, you do have a standard smart entry system on the SEL trim level and above. As you can see, built into the fob, we do also have remote start. Hyundai's digital key system is included as well, and then on the top end models we have the smart parking system where you can remotely control the vehicle outside of it. Now to get inside, just grab behind the handle since there is a sensor. And there's a good look at this fully loaded Calligraphy's interior before we go ahead and climb inside. Now, starting out this interior tour, let's talk about the color and material choices. So you have quite a number of them on the Santa Fe lineup. SE and SEL are going to come with cloth seating. The XRT as well as the SEL with premium package, those are going to come with a new H-Tex leatherette for 2023. Going to the limited trim level will score you real leather, and then when you go up to this fully loaded Calligraphy model, this is where you'll get the fine Napa leather. So as you can see, really nice looking seat. We've got this beautiful quilting detail up here at the top, just like you find on the Palisade. And the leather quality itself is very nice. It feels super soft and supple, and I do like the stitching details on board as well. Now, as far as your color choices, on the Calligraphy, you do have the choice between this black or a beige contrasting color scheme. Turning over here to the seats themselves, you're going to have a 8-way power adjusting seat on most of the models. However, starting on the limited trim level is where you get 4-way lumbar support as well as a power thigh extension, which we do have on this model, of course. And looking around at the cabin materials, this being the Calligraphy, you're going to notice pretty nice ones all throughout. So across our armrest here, all are going to be covered in leather with a stitching detail. All 4 of the windows, one-touch automatic, and on both the Limited and Calligraphy, you do have the memory seating. The top part is going to be padded plastic. We have a faux carbon fiber accent through there. Going to the very upper dash, this part is actually going to be a hard touch through here, but this part of the dash is going to be covered in a nice leather material. We've got another stitching detail. And you'll notice on the lower areas, since this is a top-end trim level, these are also going to be covered with this same leather. With the nice stitching detail, and along the console here for your knee to rest against. Everything does fit together very nicely. Now, of course, to start it up, just put your foot on the brake and press the silver button. So with the SEL convenience package being eliminated for 2023, that does mean that equipment that used to be inside of that package, some of that went down as standard equipment to the SEL, and some of that went up to standard equipment on the SEL with the premium package instead. So there are going to be definitely some changes to the equipment availability on the inside here. Anyways, coming to our gauge cluster. As you can see, we do have the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. This is going to be included on the limited trim and the Calligraphy models. So do be aware, that is a difference. You are going to not find that on the XRT for 2023. That being said, it does still have all the same functionality. You can change the design. And then if you get the fully loaded calligraphy model, that's where you'll also get a head-up display up here at the top. Now coming back here to the steering wheel, of course the vast majority of Santa Fe's will come with a nice leather wrap steering wheel. Here on the top end calligraphy though, we do have the perforated leather trim over here on the side. Nice stitching details. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, and then both the limited and the calligraphy models will come with steering wheel heating. Well, let's go ahead and dig into interior storage because, of course, as a family crossover, you want to have plenty of places to stick your various objects. And we have a great size center console, little tray right there we can toss to the side. And then once inside, nice and deep, there's a felt lining at the very bottom as well. Of course, the number one object you might want to store is coupons, because you're going to need to save money for the whole family on food. And as you can see, those are going to fit in there absolutely no problem whatsoever. Now moving above that, we have one cup holder. We also have this little area here. It doesn't look like much, but actually you press your phone inside of that, and this is your wireless phone charging pad. The other cup holder is underneath of that cover, and we also have a USB port. And then we have a lot of storage down here. So we have a gigantic center pass-through, which is a little hard to film here, but as you can see, it's really, really large. It has another USB and a 12-volt outlet down there, and you can stick just about anything down in that area. Now, of course, the reason you can have a pass-through is because we have an electronic push-button style shifter. So this is typical Hyundai affair. Very simple to use. You're just going to press the D for drive. Coming up to the steering wheel, you do have paddle shifters built in. And then heading into reverse, this is where you'll find a 360-degree camera system. This is actually going to be included for 2023 on the SEL Premium and above. Previously, this was actually on just the limited and calligraphy, so that is actually a little bit more standard equipment this year. And as you can see, nice quality. You've got both views. You can't do the 360 spin like you can on the new 2023 Palisade. But that being said, it is still a very nice 360 camera. And of course, you can just press the P for park. You do have an electronic parking brake. We also have a brake hold function. And this button here will defeat your auto start stop system. Off to the side of that, of course, you have your large drive mode controller through there. And then down below that, you'll notice your seat climate controls. So you're going to find 3-stage heated seats on all but the very base model. And seat ventilation will be included on both the limited and the calligraphy trim levels. You got a lot of buttons in this console area. The next row is going to be devoted to your climate controls. These are going to be dual zone automatic climate controls on all but the base model. Very simple operation for this as well. You're just going to use these toggles to adjust the temperature up and down. There's no dedicated screen down here, so when you make those adjustments, you'll see them pop up there on the main display. And everything is nice and easy to use. Then the next row, you have all your audio controls. I do like that you still have physical controls on board. And as far as what we have is a 630 watt 12 speaker Harman Kardon premium sound system, going to be included on the SEL with premium package and above. So we'll go ahead and give it a sample. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is very strong. It sounds really nice in here. This is a good, well-balanced sound system, plenty of bass, and fills up the cabin nicely. Alrighty, so let's go up here to our infotainment system and talk about that for a second. So one of the updates for 2023 is that Hyundai has actually expanded the availability of the 10.25 inch display, which you're looking at right here. This is the larger option. It's more high resolution. And this is now going to be included on the SEL and above. So that only leaves out the base model. Last year you used to have to go up to the SEL Premium package to get this. That base model is going to come with an 8-inch display, just like it did last year if you are to choose that one. And then in terms of your differences, the same stuff applies as with all the other Hyundai, Kia, Genesis products, and that's the fact that the larger display option is going to have built-in navigation, as you can see. The con of it is the fact that it's going to have wired Android Auto and wired Apple CarPlay. The smaller 8-inch display on just the base model, that will have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. But moving on from that, we do have an auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes for limited and above. Also on limited and above, you will find this very nice panoramic sunroof. As you can see, we do have a power sunshade which moves very quickly. We've got a large piece of glass, and this front portion does open up. The other thing I want to point out that's Calligraphy exclusive is the fact that we've got the really nice suede headliner. Just like with the Palisade, this is a very premium touch that you typically don't see at this price point.
Well guys, I always enjoy reviewing Hyundai Santa Fe's because the rear seat area is one of the nicest within the entire segment. It might be the nicest in the segment. It is really spacious, and you're also going to have a ton of luxury features. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into some of those features as well as the space. So we'll talk about the space first. We're looking at 41.7 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom. As you can see, I'm 5'9". This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". I still have, I'd say, that's pushing a foot, probably 10 to 11 inches of space between my knees and the seat back. Also, my feet can easily slide up underneath of the seat. And in addition to that, I can also recline the seat back quite a good distance. The headrest is in just the right spot. It is so comfortable back here, and it's worth noting those space figures are better than the vast majority of the competition. It's larger than something like a Nissan Murano. It is going to be on par with the Kia Sorento, as you would expect, though. Now, as far as some of your other features going on, here in the center, every Santa Fe will have vents, so that's a really nice touch even for the base models. No climate controls though. If we drop down below that, we have a household style outlet. I do believe that is exclusive to some of the higher end trim levels. We have 2 USB ports. These are going to be the Type A variety. We have a seat back pocket right here. Then if we turn our attention towards the door trim, it's going to be nicely made. We have a nice padding on the upper part, leatherette where your arm is going to rest. And then if we go up a little bit, you're going to see the rear window sunshade. That's going to actually be standard on the SEL trims and above. So that's going to be included on a lot of different Santa Fe models. And then finally, we have a button right here. This is for your heated rear seats. That's also going to be included on the limited and Calligraphy models. So if you go for one of those upper end Santa Fe's, that's going to have that feature. And down below that, we do have some bottle storage. Walking up to the tailgate area for the Santa Fe, you do have a hands-free smart opening tailgate. That's going to actually be included on SEL trim levels and above. It used to be previously on SEL convenience package models and above. Now they have dropped that down to just the SEL trim level, so that's a nice improvement for 2023. Now, as far as your space is concerned for the Santa Fe, this is also going to be a very large space for this model. So you're looking at a little over 36 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the second row seats, and then 72.1 cubic feet as a full maximum with all the seats folded in this model. That does place it above main rivals like the Nissan Murano. It's right on par with that of the Ford Edge. And it's also going to be on par with something like the Kia Sorento. Now, one thing I do want to point out in regards to the Kia Sorento, kind of its sibling mate, is that this Santa Fe is going to be 2 rows exclusively, where that Sorento model does include a 3rd row. You're not going to get that on this Santa Fe model. Now, as far as some of the features going on back here, we have a nice cargo cover up top, so that's a nice touch. To fold the second row seats, they have actually made it really easy because you can't really easily reach up and fold them. So you just locate these buttons right here, one press, and that's going to completely fold down your second row and make a nice flat loading floor for whatever you're going to need. In addition to that, you have a 12-volt outlet, and then if we lift up the cargo floor, there's going to be additional space up underneath of here as well in case you need to hide something from view. As you would expect for a Calligraphy Santa Fe, you do have a power adjusting passenger seat. I believe it's going to be 8-way power adjusting, so that's a pretty good level of adjustments there. No lumbar support though. If we open up the glove box here, you'll notice that we do have quite a large one, and you know what it is. It's time for a coupon test. So Today we're going to be going to Burger King. Let's do a $10.99 Whopper meal for two. That's a pretty darn good deal. I know you guys, if you buy a Hyundai, you want good deals, and definitely fits in the coupons perfectly fine right there. We also have a nice little storage cubby right up in front of that. You can maybe put individual coupons there. Off to my left knee, there is also a USB port. Then if we open up the sun visor, it's going to be finished in that really nice suede headliner, very premium feeling. There's a mirror included in that, and we do also have a separated light. You can also detach the mirror and extend it as well. Nice.
Dang, yeah. So this is quite swift as far as acceleration is concerned, because we have the upper end model with the upper end engine. So this is Hyundai's signature 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder, and it makes very healthy numbers. 277 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque in the Santa Fe's application, which, as you can see, gets you up to 60 quite quickly. I mean, honestly, it's pretty surprising when you put your foot down, especially the torque really pushes you back in the seat in a way that some like naturally aspirated V6s don't push you back quite like that.
Right, yeah, it's definitely the powertrain to go for if you want any type of spirited driving, or if you like driving fast, I guess, because the other powertrain, it's not a terrible choice or anything, but it's just going to be a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. That's going to be making 191 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque for that model, so that's definitely going to be a lot weaker than this turbo model.
That's right.
And you'll especially notice the torque figure. Now you might be wondering what trim level gets what powertrain. So the base 2.5 liter 4-cylinder is going to be included on the SEL through the XRT trim levels, and then when you go for the limited or calligraphy models, that's where you will get the 2.5 liter turbo thrown in as a no charge option. Yeah.
Very impressive.
Really nice.
I also want to talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, the transmission. So this actually has an 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission when you have the 2.5 turbo. So, like, if you don't know already, we actually own a Hyundai Sonata inline. This is actually the same powertrain as that, including the transmission, which is really cool because you don't see a dual clutch included in a vehicle like this rarely, if ever, and really fast shifts. So it just blast off shifts. You can use the paddle shifters; those work really well also. So it's pretty cool, and you'll just have a regular automatic if you go for the standard 2.5.
Right. Now I do also want to point out that there are additional powertrain options. There are 4 powertrain options for the Santa Fe. We're going to cover those in separate reviews, so don't you fret too much about it, but we're looking at a regular hybrid version of the Santa Fe. There is also a plug-in hybrid version of the Santa Fe available, so they really cover all of your fronts on whatever powertrain need you're going to have. Now, I also want to mention your ride quality, just that now that we're cruising down the highway, going around 55 miles an hour, really excellent ride quality. We've actually lived with the Santa Fe on a long-term loaner for a week, and it was a very pleasant vehicle to be in. I think the calligraphy even elevates it from that XRT experience. The seats are extremely comfortable. The headrest hits me in just the right spot, and it does sound very quiet in here. So let's go ahead and get a sound level reading. $55.9. That's really excellent, guys. That just goes to show you they have really made this a very premium experience. Of course, your materials and stuff are all very nice in here, but your ride quality and sound level prove the premium experience.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if they add more sound deadening with the calligraphy, but it certainly seems very quiet, and I think quieter than that XRT that we had for
sure.
a week.
Now, as far as other things to mention, You do have front wheel drive as the standard option on every single trim level, optional all-wheel drive on all of the trim levels. That does even include the XRT, so you can get front wheel drive on any of them. So I guess if you live in like California where it never snows or whatnot, that can save you a little bit of money getting that top end model with front wheel drive. And as far as your fuel economy is concerned, we're going to be sitting at 24 mpg combined for this model right here, the 2.5 liter turbo with all-wheel drive, 25 mpg if you go for front-wheel drive with the turbo, 24 for the 2.5 liter with non-turbo. So that's an interesting element about this Santa Fe, is that going for the turbo actually doesn't cost you any in terms of the fuel economy. So,
right, and it is also on regular fuel as well.
Yeah, so really no consequence for going for the turbo. I guess the only consequence is that you have to get the higher end trim levels to get it. Alrighty guys, and it is time for us to do our slam dunk and airball today. I'll kick us off with the slam dunk and just say it's going to be the overall value and features that you get for the money. I mean, this Santa Fe really, it's really incredible that Hyundai is able to throw this in a package that costs this amount. You have so many luxury features. These Napa leather seats, I got a suede headliner. I mean, it's just like next level bouginess going on in here for that price tag, which I'll mention in just a second.
And before he does that, I'll mention the airball. Today we decided we're going to airball this kind of console here. Nothing's really wrong with it per se, except it's kind of the arrangement of the buttons. It is a lot of buttons all located kind of in one spot here. And that makes it tricky to just like reach down and know what to hit, because there's just a lot of things going on. Also the trim pieces could be maybe nicer for the Calligraphy model as opposed to this fake carbon fiber trim. Now, you're probably curious about the pricing. Like I just alluded, this is a good value. The SE model is going to start at $28,200 for the 2023 model year. As we go through the trim levels, it of course increases all the way up to the Calligraphy, which starts at $42,050. Now this particular tester does have all-wheel drive. We also have the optional paint color, as well as a few other accessories added in. All told, we're looking at $46,030 for this model. But overall, the Santa Fe has always impressed us every time we've been in it, just by having, a lot of value baked in and a lot of space. That's kind of one of the things that this is known for. But this is also the first time we've been in the Calligraphy specifically, and I have to say this really adds another layer to the amount that we're impressed by it, because you can get this equipped almost like a luxury vehicle for an under $50,000 price tag, which continues that theme of having just a lot of value baked in. So if you're looking for a pretty spacious, value-packed crossover, this is definitely a great choice.
Well guys, thanks so much for tuning in to our in-depth review of the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It truly helps us out. It helps give us opportunities to show you all cooler cars and newer content first. So please go ahead and subscribe, tell a friend, tell a family member. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, our other platforms that have shorter form content. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.